Good morning, everybody. Welcome to IGTV. We have Bill William H. Murray with us today, delivering the InfraGard editorial, and I think we're on Cryptology today, correct?
Yes.
Okay, take it away, Bill.
Good morning. At a recent InfraGard presentation, the presenter was asked about crypto requirements. For example, a requirement to use 256-bit crypto. PCI DSS, for example, requires that payment card information should be protected using encryption, both in transmission and at rest. Good practice says that we should use encryption to protect personal, proprietary, and payment data, databases, file systems, and storage devices. But the question reminded me of my South African client who wanted help getting 128-bit SSL for browsers. At the time, the U.S. export controls would only license 40-bit SSL for export. I assured my client that there were international sources for full 128-bit SSL, but then went on to ask him what he wanted it for. What application and threat environment was he concerned about? He told me that he needed it for home banking. I said, "You mean the application that you have been doing in a single white envelope for generations?" "Yes," he assured me, "the very one." I asked him what made him think he needed 128-bit crypto for that application. He responded that he knew he needed it because the U.S. did not want him to have it. I assured him that if 40-bit crypto was the weak link in his home banking application, then his was the most secure home banking application in the world. The key length of a crypto algorithm is a limitation. But is it an important limitation? Of course, that question can only be answered in the context of the application and the environment. However, crypto algorithms are the only security mechanisms that we have that are orders of magnitude stronger than we need for them to be. We use 128 or 256-bit crypto not because we need that strength, but because it is cheap. Some of you will remember when the director of the FBI was testifying before the Senate of the United States that strong crypto equated to perfect security for the criminal. Now, intuitively, you knew that wasn't true, but you might not have known exactly why. Adi Shamir, the S in RSA, reminds us that in practice, people do not break the algorithm, they bypass it. They do not break the cipher, excuse me, but the system or the application. We break the system, not the code. However, the system is no stronger than the physical and personnel controls that protect access to the secret keys. It is in the key management controls, not in the crypto algorithms, that the limitations of security rest. It is on the security of these controls, not the algorithm, that the security professional should focus. What does the number of bits in the key really tell us? It's a measure of the work, the number of trials required to discover the key by trial and error. However, there are always easier ways to discover the key, or even the clear text that it protects. Suppose that the key is protected by a shorter passphrase. Then the limitation is the length of the passphrase, not that of the key. This may be as low as the cost of bribing the person who chose or uses the passphrase, or who has access to the clear text. My colleague, Brian Snow, told the plenary audience of the cryptographers panel at the RSA conference that NSA spends at least as much effort on systems as on codes and ciphers. My mentor, Jonathan Osius, taught me that there are an infinite number of ways to use a crypto algorithm, most of them wrong. Even the good ones will have limitations lower than those of the crypto algorithm itself. He then went on to teach me some of the criteria that he used to separate the good ones from the bad ones. I wish there were time to teach you all he taught me. For example, the default keys for key management The default rules for key management include that keys must be randomly chosen from the entire key space, should never appear outside of the secure system in the clear, and should not be reused. These requirements are difficult to meet. The implications include that key management should be fully automated. Said another way, people should not choose or even see any key. Fortunately for security professionals, we rarely have to design a crypto system from scratch. Rather, we buy them as part of applications. For example, we buy SSL as part of our browsers and web servers. This application is so familiar to us that we take its limitations for granted. We also have a generation of experience to assure us that it is always cheaper to break the endpoints than it is to break the traffic encrypted under SSL. So, rather than focus on the limitations of the strongest mechanism in the system, the algorithm, we should focus on the limitations of the weakest. This may be in the implementation, influencing our choice of product. For example, we might want the enterprise to prescribe that disk storage devices implement full disk encryption to protect against data leakage when we dispose of the drive. However, the limitation is more likely to be in our use and operation of the product. Using the same example, if we do not have procedures to ensure that the drive is separated from its key at disposal time, then we need not have prescribed the use of those drives in the first place. Of course, identifying suitable products, influencing their selection, and ensuring their safe use and operation is really much more difficult than simply saying 256-bit AES. That is why we are called professionals and are paid the big bucks. See you next week.
Thanks, Bill. Certainly appreciate it. Look forward to hearing from you next week.